You may not have a salt problem at all. You may have a balance problem. That mistake can quietly raise your blood pressure, drain your energy, and stress your kidneys. If you want to stay healthy and independent as you age, hit that subscribe button right now. We share science-backed health tips like this every single day. After years of watching the same pattern show up again and again, one thing stands out. People hear the word salt, get scared, and start blaming the shaker on the table. But their blood pressure still runs high, their ankles still swell, their energy still crashes. Why? Because the real issue is often bigger than salt alone. And once you see it, a lot starts making sense. Here's the promise I want to make to you today. By the end of this video, you'll understand what most people miss, why your body after 65 handles sodium differently, and what simple steps can actually help you feel steadier, clearer, and more in control. Now, before we continue, tell me your age and where you're watching from in the comments. This helps us understand who we're helping. Here's what most people get wrong. They think the answer is simple. Eat less salt and everything gets better. Sounds reasonable, right? But real life is rarely that neat. The University of Minnesota School of Public Health study found that 71% of sodium comes from commercially prepared foods, while just 11% comes from salt added at the table or during home cooking. Think about that for a second. Most of the sodium is not coming from the little shake you put on your eggs. It's coming from packaged foods, restaurant meals, sauces, deli meats, frozen dinners, and breads. And a 2024 UC Davis research page said the average U.S. diet is now around 60 to 70% ultra-processed foods. So if you stop salting your soup but still eat ultra-processed food every day, you may be solving the wrong problem. Not the pinch on top, but the load hidden inside. Let me be clear, I'm not saying salt never matters, it does. Too much can absolutely raise blood pressure. But if you only focus on visible salt and ignore the rest, you may miss the real reason your numbers are not improving. The 2024 Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health Review reported something even more striking. In pooled data from 10,709 adults, every extra 1,000 milligrams of sodium was linked to an 18% higher risk of cardiovascular disease. But every extra 1,000 milligrams of potassium was linked to an 18% lower risk. And people with the highest sodium to potassium ratio had double the risk of dying from a heart attack and a 50% higher risk of death from any cause. That is the part many people never hear, not just salt, but salt without enough balance. So let's break this down the simple way. Number 5, hidden salt. Most people think their problem is the salt shaker, but actually their problem is the food label. Hidden salt works like tiny leaks in a boat. One leak may not sink you, but 10 small leaks all day long, that's different. A little sodium in bread, a little in turkey slices, a little in canned soup, a little in crackers, a little in bottled dressing, and by dinner you've taken on far more than you realize. The University of Minnesota page also reported that 85% of people exceed the daily sodium limit of 2,300 milligrams. That means this is not a rare problem, it is the normal pattern. So what do? First, stop guessing and start reading. Look at the sodium line on the nutrition label. A low sodium food has 140 milligrams or less per serving. If a packaged item has more than 500 milligrams per serving, that should make you pause. One meal can eat up a huge chunk of your day. Second, don't only compare brands by price. Compare them by sodium. You may see one soup with 890 milligrams and another with 480. One jarred sauce with 600 milligrams and another with 300. That one choice matters. Third, watch the foods that pretend to be harmless. Bread, breakfast cereal, cottage cheese, canned beans, rotisserie chicken, deli meat, and bottled sauces can add up fast. Have you ever eaten light all day and still had swollen fingers by evening? This is often why. Fourth, build your plate from foods that do not come with a hidden salt bill. Plain oats, eggs, fresh chicken, frozen vegetables without sauce, plain yogurt, brown rice, fruit, beans you rinse well. Simple foods make sodium easier to see. And here's the thing. When you eat more simple foods, you don't just lower sodium, you create room for the next missing piece. But wait until you see number 4. Number 4, potassium. Most people think blood pressure is all about removing salt, but actually it is also about bringing in potassium. Potassium is like the traffic cop of fluid balance. Sodium tends to hold water in. Potassium helps your body let some of it go. Sodium tightens the street. Potassium helps open the lane. That balance matters more than most people realize. A 2021 study from the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine found that potassium increased sodium excretion in the urine, and the effect was comparable to thiazide, a common blood pressure medicine that helps the body release sodium in fluid. Read that again. A nutrient in food helped the body push sodium out in a way that acted like a medication pathway. That does not mean food replaces your prescription. It means your diet can either work with your body or against it. So how do you raise potassium the smart way? Start with food, not pills. A medium baked potato can give you around 900 milligrams. A cup of cooked beans can give you about 600 to 700 milligrams. A banana gives you about 420 milligrams. A cup of plain yogurt gives you roughly 550 milligrams. You need repetition. Put one potassium-rich food at each meal. Maybe yogurt at breakfast, beans at lunch, potato or spinach at dinner. Maybe melon as a snack. Maybe lentil soup made at home. If you are used to eating toast for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and a frozen dinner at night, potassium may be the missing side of the seesaw. And when the seesaw is off, the body feels it. Puffiness, muscle cramps, fatigue, numbers that stay stubborn. Quick question. Have you experienced leg cramps, ankle swelling, or blood pressure that just won't budge? Comment yes or no below. One more tip here. If you want better balance, don't just add potassium on top of a high sodium day. Swap. Replace chips with fruit. Replace instant noodles with beans and rice. Replace canned sides with baked potatoes or steamed vegetables. Not more food, but smarter food. But wait until you see number 3. Number 3, water. Most people think water has nothing to do with salt, but actually dehydration can make the whole sodium story worse. Picture a frying pan with sauce left on the bottom. Add a little heat and no water, and everything gets thicker, stickier, and harder to move. Your blood volume and fluid balance are not exactly a frying pan, of course, but the idea helps. When you do not drink enough, the concentration of dissolved particles in your body rises. Your body has to work harder to keep things stable. A 2024 study from Penn State followed 78 adults ages 47 to 70 and found that at each assessment, at least 29% and up to 39.1% of the group was dehydrated. The more dehydrated they were, the worse they performed on sustained attention tasks. In plain English, even mild dehydration made it harder to stay mentally sharp over time. Have you ever felt foggy, irritable, weak, or headachy and assumed it was just age? Sometimes it is not age. Sometimes it is low fluid intake hiding in plain sight. And here is the sneaky part. Thirst gets weaker as you get older, so waiting until you feel thirsty is like waiting for the smoke alarm after the kitchen already fills up. What should you do? Keep it simple. Drink 1 8-ounce glass of water when you wake up. Drink another with breakfast. Sip again around lunch. Have another glass in the afternoon. If your doctor has not put you on a fluid restriction, this simple routine alone can change a lot. Use visual cues. Fill a bottle in the morning and keep it where you sit. If you take medicine in the morning and evening, pair a few sips of water with that routine. If plain water feels boring, add lemon, cucumber, or drink unsweetened herbal tea. You can also eat some of your water. Soup made at home, cucumbers, oranges, berries, melon, plain yogurt. Hydration does not have to be fancy. Before we go further, if this is making sense so far, hit that like button. It tells me you want more videos like this. Now, one warning, more water is not always better. If you have heart failure, advanced kidney disease, or a fluid limit from your doctor, follow that plan. This video is about smarter balance, not forcing gallons. But wait until you see number 2. Number 2, salt sensitivity. Most people think everyone reacts to sodium the same way, but actually some bodies over 65 react much more strongly than others. A 2024 Harvard Medical School report explained that about 60% of people with high blood pressure are salt sensitive. Their blood pressure rises by 5 points or more when they switch from a low salt to a high salt diet. That means 2 people can eat the same meal and get very different results. Why does this happen? Your kidneys are like a filter and thermostat combined. When you are younger, they usually adjust faster. As you age, that system can get less flexible. Add blood pressure medicines, kidney changes, diabetes, or extra body weight, and the response can get even stronger. Harvard also explained that excess sodium can counteract the benefits of diuretics and vasodilators. Diuretics help flush fluid, vasodilators relax blood vessels, but a high sodium diet can pull water back in and refill the pressure, almost like bailing out a boat while someone else pours water back into it. So what do you do if you think you might be salt sensitive? First, stop swinging between extremes. Don't eat very low sodium for 2 days, then crush a restaurant dinner on Friday night. Your body likes steadiness more than chaos. Second, check your blood pressure at home the same way each time. Sit quietly for 5 minutes. Use the same arm. Take it at the same time of day. Write down what you ate the night before. Patterns appear fast when you do this. Third, when you eat out, assume sodium is higher than it looks. Ask for sauce on the side. Split the entree. Skip the soup, skip the extra salty appetizers, bring half home before you even start. Fourth, rinse canned beans and vegetables. That one step can meaningfully lower sodium without taking away the food. And ask yourself this, is it really the salt on your tomato or the restaurant meal, the deli meat, the bottled dressing, and the snack crackers all stacked together? That question changes everything. But wait until you see number 1. I'd love to hear your story. What made you click on this video today? Share in the comments. Number 1, the whole pattern. Most people think health comes from fixing one nutrient. But actually your body responds to patterns, not isolated villains. This is the biggest thing people miss. You do not eat sodium by itself. You eat meals. Your blood vessels do not feel 1 grain of salt. They feel the full message from your plate. Sodium, potassium, fluid, fiber, magnesium, calories, sugar, and processed food load all arrive together. That is why a 2024 report from Pennington Biomedical Research Center at Louisiana State University said the blood pressure reduction in the original DASH diet participants was linked to a 27% lower stroke rate and a 15% lower heart disease rate. And that same report made a point many people overlook. No supplements were used. The power came from the eating pattern itself. The DASH pattern is not magic, it is just balanced. More fruits, more vegetables, more beans, more whole grains, more low-fat dairy or yogurt, less ultra-processed food, less sugar-sweetened drinks, less sodium overload, more potassium and magnesium built into real meals. Think of it like an orchestra. If one instrument is too loud, the music suffers. If everything works together, the song feels right. Your body is the same, not low salt alone, but better balance overall. So how do you do this in real life? Breakfast could be plain oats with berries and yogurt. Lunch could be beans, brown rice and vegetables. Dinner could be baked chicken, a potato, and green beans. A snack could be fruit and a handful of unsalted nuts. That is not a diet trend. That is a body-friendly signal. You do not need exotic ingredients. You need consistency. You need enough potassium to balance sodium, enough water to support circulation, enough simple foods that label "stop controlling your day." Let's pump the brakes for a second. I'm not saying this to scare you, but there are times when the "eat more potassium" message can backfire. If you have chronic kidney disease, are on dialysis, or have been told your potassium runs high, do not start loading up on potassium foods or salt substitutes without asking your doctor. The same goes if you take ACE inhibitors, ARBs, spironolactone, or certain other blood pressure medicines that can raise potassium. What helps one person can hurt another. And be careful with healthy products that sound harmless. Potassium supplements, electrolyte powders, and salt substitutes can be too much for some older adults. More is not always better. Safer is better. When should you see a doctor? If your blood pressure stays high even when you are trying, if you have swelling, dizziness, confusion, unusual weakness, irregular heartbeat, or shortness of breath, if your numbers suddenly change, if you have kidney disease, diabetes, or take several blood pressure medicines, those are not things to guess through. So you're convinced, but thinking, how do I actually do this? Start with the easiest move first. For the next 7 days, remove just one ultra-processed high-sodium food you eat often. Just one. Maybe canned soup, maybe deli meat, maybe frozen dinners, maybe salty snacks. Second, add one potassium-rich food every day. A banana, a potato, beans, yogurt, spinach. Pick the cheapest one you will actually eat. Third, set a basic water rhythm. 1 glass in the morning, 1 with lunch, 1 in the afternoon. Simple beats perfect. If money is tight, go budget friendly. Bananas are cheap, potatoes are cheap, dried beans are cheap, frozen vegetables are often cheaper than fresh and last longer. Plain oats cost little. Store brand yogurt usually works fine. You do not need a health store, you need a plan. Look, there's a lot of noise out there. People tell you to fear salt, fear carbs, fear fruit, fear potatoes, fear everything. But your body is usually asking for something simpler. Less hidden sodium, more potassium, better hydration, fewer ultra-processed foods. More steady routines. You don't need to overthink this. Start with just 1 swap and 1 addition. Remove 1 salty processed food. Add 1 potassium-rich whole food. Your body will tell you if it's working. Maybe your rings fit better, maybe your pressure eases, maybe your head feels clearer, maybe you just feel more like yourself. If this helped you, hit that like button. And if you want more videos like this, make sure you're subscribed because we post new health tips every single day. Stay healthy, stay strong.